Hello, everyone, and welcome to Four Lads post-match reaction. I am home from Ibrox Stadium, even though it's a couple of hours later by the time we do press duty, take my dog David off and things. So Andrew and I are here just to have a quick kind of recap on today's events. Andrew, how are you?
I'm fine. Nothing about today was massively surprising. Expected us to perform, but expect this team to let me down continuously as well this season. And nothing massively surprising, unfortunately.
Well, I think as we get into it, I think it's clear that I don't rate this team. So they competed, they stood up, and there was lots of bits here that let us down and that lacks the quality and everything else. But I understand that completely. But that's probably why we do lack the end result and things, because we don't have the quality. So I think that's all fair. I thought we were dire, but we'll get into it, Andrew. We'll get into it. And before we do start, good afternoon to everyone, or good evening, wherever you might be. Thanks very much to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Cliveview Joinery, Apple Industrial, and CSD Air Conditioning. Black Rooster and Art of Gold are our partners, also helping us make shows like today. You asked us to go live and bring you some live stuff, so we're once again trying to do that. Andrew, where do we start? Team selection of today by Rami came in, obviously for the job I think he's done on McGregor on previous games. Cyril started up front, which we expect him to do. Balogun came in at the back. I wasn't overly surprised by anything, really. It's not like he has an abundance of options. So did you feel anything differently towards the starting lineup?
No, I think Balogun coming in's sensible. Bayrami's the curveball, if you like. But again, we've seen that in the past before. He has done a decent job when he's been asked to do that in previous old firms. But I've spoken about Bayrami repeatedly in the past. I do not rate him at all. He looks like a player, even prior to the end of this season, who doesn't care, who doesn't really want to be there. So, there's no real curveball. The disappointing thing is persisting with Dessers. I know he did get the goal, which I'm sure we'll come on to, but I think him getting something, achieving something in this game is the exception rather than the rule. He got the goal, and my first instinct was immediately, great, let's get him off the pitch, because I don't think he's going to contribute anything else. And he's not the only one, and I don't want to single him out, but as you said, Stevie, this team back to front is not good enough. And so there's going to be no surprises in the team selection, because I don't think there's anyone you could pull out who you go, oh yeah, that's really, you can do some damage there. It's just a poor squad through and through.
Yeah, unfortunately it was a squad that Barry Ferguson said needs big changes in the summer. I don't think he's wrong. So the game started off, I think, quite positively for Rangers. We have a trio of kind of efforts, I think that's fair to say. The first comes from Leon Balogun, a header that clips the bar as it scalps off his head and clips the bar on the way over. It's a good corner kick, good header, maybe should have got it on target. And then that's followed up by, I think it was a Czerny shot that deflects, it was tipped over. And then Nico Raskin had a header down to the bottom left, which the goalkeeper this time saved. Was very much like the one he had in net. I thought, Andrew, we had started well, and I thought that we had, considering what I think of this squad, which I've never hidden rather, I think we started off okay, and it was a decent enough start.
Yeah, and we saw that in the previous couple of old firms as well, where we do start brightly in these ones. And the last one we get the early goal. You can see the intent from the players. It's good to see. It's nice to show them putting in the effort. As we've spoken about all season, it's not so much in this game. It's the other games this season which have continuously let us down. But no, for us, it's a good start. It's a bright start. Unfortunate, I think the Raskin chance that we'll come on to that didn't count. I think that probably sets us up a bit better. But overall, you couldn't really doubt the effort from the squad, at least in the first 25 minutes. It was certainly there to be sure, but unfortunately failed to consistently deliver that over the 90 minutes.
Yeah, and then we do get the ball in the net. set piece, Raskin just goes too early. I said on the vlog, I thought Raskin was okay, but I did think there was people on that line of attackers that were offside. So we're unlucky there. Nico Raskin winning and becoming a problem in the opposition box is really strange because everybody seems to just ignore him. And he pops up quite a few times, especially against Celtic. They have trouble. He nearly scored at New Year. Proper scores a rebound. He scores at Parkhead. He scores. He has an effort with his head, although albeit after, it was offside. No issues with that. But they seem to just leave him. I wonder if there's a role for Nico Raskin if you could get a proper number 6 in that would make him be more of a box to box, because he does manage to pop up at times.
Yeah, he's one of the few players that we've highlighted as potentially being good enough to be with us next season, and of course he'll improve with better players around him. You could say the same thing about Egerman and even potentially Yefty, although he had a poor game today as well. It's the disappointing thing is that we do see some of these players putting in the effort, but they are let down by the players around them. And I think Raskin, who is about the same height as you are, Stevie, somehow becoming a threat in the box is good to see, but it shows the effort and application that he's putting in. He's putting in the work. He's trying to make things happen. Balogun, again, I agree. I think should do better with the free header that he gets. But again, it's just another disappointment this season where we just failed to capitalise when we're in the ascendancy. Because we were dominant in that first half hour, and we failed to capitalise on it.
Here's where it becomes really difficult, because I felt we offered absolutely nothing up front. All game, we didn't hold it up. We didn't make the right decisions. I don't know how many touches Cyril Dessers had, but he can't dominate a defender.
6.
He can't hold it up. He cannot get involved in a game. He doesn't bring people in. He doesn't offer anything. And I was screaming at him. And then Celtic have a very big moment. Carter Vickers, I think, has a header which Kelly deals with really well. And here's my issue. And I said it on the vlog again. Go and watch the vlog from today. And this is something that I'm wanting to bring up. Gary talks about it. Hi, Gary, mate. How are you? Good mate, Andrew, Gary Howden. Gary and I used to go to the games together from Fort William Rangers Supporters Club. So Gary's a top boy living out in America now. I'm going to get him on as long as he doesn't tell you about any of my stuff that I used to do on the bus and everything else. But Gary's a good guy. And formation today was wrong. And here's something I said on the vlog, right? The amount of space that Taylor and Ralston were getting on the side were unbelievable. And the out ball, so we would press and they would just skip it over and off they went. And I just thought that it was the diamond just didn't work when you're playing against 2 wingers and 2 fullbacks. I didn't think that formation worked. And these were the moments where it was getting highlighted.
Yeah, it's you spoke about the lack of hold-up play that we had, and I think that was clear, as the guys in the comments have said. Before he gets the goal, Dessers has 5 touches. One of them's in their half. I mean, we see that it was the fact that we were the better team, but as you say, we didn't dominate. We didn't present any attacking threat. And Cherney has been one of our more reliable goal scorers. Dessers, despite everything, has scored the most goals that we have this season. So it's not so much a lack of ability; it's just a lack of producing it in these games. Just it's going to be repetitive, but it's just poor from some of these players.
Yeah, I would agree completely. I'm just going to say, just before we come on to go, and that thanks very much to our channel membership, well over 100 now. Unbelievable support since we started this. Really, really pleased, and massive thank you to everyone. Big Easy's just become a YouTube member, which we really appreciate. It's in the description of our podcasts for as little as 99p a month. So we really appreciate it. Moving on, Celtic have that big, they have the header that's tipped over the bar. And then at that point, they were really starting. And I vlogged on it just after they had Adam Ida went through and Liam Kelly spreads himself and he blocks it really well. And at that point, you were thinking, are they going to push on just before half time? But they don't. Rangers create a really good move. It gets in the ball in. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Bainami played it through. Czerny kind of leaves it. Dessers is onto it. And as he's onto it, he finishes wonderfully. And he does finish really well. And Rangers find themselves 1-up, Andrew. Having been, I think, the better team for the first 30 minutes, slightly faded out of it, but scored at such a good time.
It's Dessers. He just needs that sixth touch and he can get a goal. He's we've talked about him plenty this season. He's always going to be a player that frustrates you. Should have held my old man. There's nothing suitable for a broadcast in what he was saying about Dessers. But he gets the goal because he does. He's inevitable like that. But as I said at the start, when he scores, thank you so much, Cyril. Please come off. You're not going to do anything else this game. That's it. He's got his goal. He managed to get it. And I don't want to take anything away from it as well. It's a fantastic finish. Unlike most of his, he gets the goal. And it's a perfect time for us to score as well. It's right before halftime, just after we've been severely threatened as well. You know, by all rights, we should have conceded that, if not for a really good save from Liam Kelly. But getting that goal then, fantastic. It sets us up perfectly for that second half. And again, all you're looking for is for these players to come out and keep doing the same stuff, but push on and go ahead and get that second goal. But wasn't to be, unfortunately.
And we don't, Andrew, because we don't have the quality to do that. And Celtic then begin to dominate without being, I think, without doing too much in front of goal. Liam Kelly didn't actually have a lot to do today. When you consider
2 or 3 saves, I think
there was a block. Neither did Sinasalo, the
sorry, I had to look him up because I had never seen this guy before.
No, I know who he is. I'm just not. He's a young Finnish lad they've got, but I'm just not sure of his pronunciation. So we'll go with Sinasalo. He had a good save, I think, to tip it over. The one that was deflected had a kind of couple of routine saves, but nobody was. There was no huge chances or anything. It was a very second half. I felt was very, very stale. I think that we didn't play well. There's no threat in it. There's no pace. So the times we did break, when we got it to Czerny or we got it to Dessers and we broke 1-on-1, just running into, like, you don't have any skill, you don't have any kind of speed to go past, just running into people. That was frustrating. But then the goal does come, Andrew. Really strange thing happened at the stadium. Really, really strange thing. Because it goes in, the flag goes up, and then it goes to VAR. Andrew, Nick Walsh gives offside, and he points, and he gives it check over. So we think check over, and I actually say on the vlog, I'm like, well, that was very, very quick decision. It must have been clear, and I thought it was just Maeda. I thought they didn't ball over, so I didn't really see, and I never had a replay. But then we realised that he's still checking it. And somehow the decision's going to stand. Now, I've seen it back. I didn't see it at the time. I've seen it back since. I think it's a legitimate goal. And I know that people might be upset by that. I don't think he's in the way of Liam Kelly. I think the goal stands. And it's just another moment where defensively we're very poor. Not only do we stop the cross, we stop the second ball. Nobody gets near either. We don't close it down. And they get the bit of luck. I think it actually deflects off Suter's arm as it kind of goes in. But for me, Andrew, as people won't want to hear this, but I thought it was a legitimate goal.
It's a legit goal, but it starts from a cock up on our part. Suter passes it out directly to one of their players, and that's where their move starts. And so it's tight. It's a tight call. He is onside, unfortunately, and it's a legit goal. But we've talked about this over the past couple of weeks, that Suter's always got a mistake in him. And again, that's why there's question marks about whether we do go ahead and renew his contract or if it's, he's part of this clear out.
John Suter's a squad player. I've said it for weeks, and I know it's maybe not the most popular of opinion, because I don't feel like people were highlighting it. But I really believe that Connor Goldson got absolutely murdered for the mistakes that he made, whereas John Souttar's making even more and worse mistakes, and we're letting him off lightly. So I think that when you compare this situation last year where everybody was hounding Goldson out the door, Andrew, I don't think John Souttar gets enough scrutiny by the decisions he makes. And if we do keep him, he's not a starting centre-half for me. And he's very good in siege situations when you're having backs to wall and stuff like that. I understand it. So you ask him to use the ball. Some of his passing from out the back, centrally and things like that one today, he done it in the, pretty sure there was one in the first half, he did it as well, where he passed it centrally and Celtic nicked in and got it. He's not the only one, but John Souttar, I think, genuinely gets away with a lot of Rangers fans because I generally don't think he gets highlighted enough because I think he's very poor at times, Andrew.
I think it's endemic about this squad because our two best defenders are Souttar, who we've just discussed and we know has a mistake in them, and Balogun, who is probably our best natural defender, but he can't play more than a game a week, which doesn't work for us either. And that's our two best defenders. We've got Robin Proper in there, who wasn't even in the squad this week. I think that may have been down to injury as opposed to anything else. But still, I think if you talk to 90% of Rangers fans, they wouldn't have had him in the squad either. We spent money on him. And that's the problem about this squad, is that the best players that we have are still not good enough, ultimately. And I include Souttar in that because he has the ability to, unfortunately, and he's not alone in this, and I don't want to single just him out. Most of our defenders have got the ability to just do an absolute brain fart at any point during one of our games. And unfortunately, when it's your defenders or if it's your goalkeepers or even our midfielders, it tends to be if you do that, then we'll concede something from it. So again, it comes back to just this group of squad. This group of players are all squad players. There are not really any standouts here. There are not really players that we would say are to the standard that we need, unfortunately.
So they equalise, it's 1-1. And do you know what? I'm kind of at a loss of what else we say about that second half because we were rotten. Mm-hmm. We know there's no quality there. We know there's no pace. We know there's no real difference makers. We know that. Cherny goes off, which I think's a mistake. I don't think it's a good sub. And when I'm going to say this as well, under Barry, our subs under Barry, to me, don't make sense at times. Yeah. And I don't think they made sense today. At times, we had 4 central midfielders on at one point today as well, and I don't think that works. I don't think that he gives Danilo enough of a chance. I really don't. You see, he was on for 5 minutes and pinged a lovely pass, got in good positions, and we don't see enough of him. Igaman outright as well. What are we doing? What are we doing there to him? So it's frustrating for me. That was this one. So there's nothing. The only one real chance is the one where the ball to the back post and Raskin slips. From that, he gets a block and it comes out and Hadji can't get to the second ball. There was a wee shout for a penalty. I'm not sure it was. And then in the final minute, I think that we've made an absolute arse of that throw in. We should be going long. We should be giving the ball to Tab so he can do a long throw and we get it in the box to try and do something with it. And somehow, from our own throw, Maeda ends up one-on-one with Kelly, who saves well. And we're lucky that Maeda just ran out of gas because he's one-on-one. And by the way, there's 2 at the back post waiting for the ball rolled across. So they missed an absolute howler with the last kick of the ball. And I think that's the only real moment of play in the second half, which was a dull game. I thought it lacked quality. I think individually we were miles off it today. Jeffy wasn't good at left back. Seems to have lost that bombing pace that he somehow came with. Centre backs today, I thought Leon was really good, and we'll come to him in a wee bit. But we lack quality. Diamandi had a good game. Raskin had a good game. Barron was okay, but they're all very similar. There's nothing coming from the midfield. There's no running beyond. There's no threat. There's no shots coming from any of them guys. that you really want. And then up front, there's nothing there. Nothing on the left. Czerny on the right, I think, looks absolutely burst. He has done so much, and our striking options. Big Cyril scored today, but all-round game doesn't offer what we really need. I don't think the players around him suit him either. So, listen, nothing that I saw today was a surprise from what we've already saw. I think that's fair to say. But Andrew, do you know what? I don't think that I've ever felt like I did today. This was just a game to me. Go in, get it done. We're a game closer to the summer. And I know that's a bad attitude, and I'm not trying to have that. But this squad, they've no lives left with me now. I just want change. I want change as quickly as possible. And this squad for me needs gutted. Gary asked, how many would you keep? 5 or 6? Realistically, you probably have to find 10 or 12 to try and keep Andrew, but it's another game closer to the end of the season where we can get change. We need a manager, we need a new squad, or we need major change in that squad. We need leadership, we need freshness, we need a takeover. All that stuff happens, and I think people genuinely are just ticking boxes until we get closer to that, because even though it was an old firm and you get yourself up for it during the 90 minutes, ultimately today didn't ever feel like it. It was very flat for me. And I just feel like it's another game closer to the end of the season. I'm sorry if that's brutally blunt, but that's just how I feel.
No, Stevie, you're saying that it's a bad attitude for you to have that. The players have got that attitude as well. They have counted down the minutes until they're out of there. Like you could say 78% of the players show no interest in being here anymore. Because for them, this is just a job. They don't care enough. So we are counting down to the minutes until the season's done. That's the most positive thing you take from this game. 90 minutes closer to the end. We've just got to get through, 260 minutes, and then we're clear of this season. And it can't come quickly enough because there's nothing left now. We've run out of patience with all these players. Talking about which players you'd keep, we've said before on the podcast, pretty much anyone here can go. If a decent enough bid comes in, they can go. We'd take 8 good players. That'd be an improvement on where we are now. We are just not anywhere near where we need to be. And the thing is that's truly disappointing is that head-to-head against the other side of the city, we have a better record against them. 2 wins, a draw and a defeat. The issue that we have here is that it's the rest of the league. That these players cannot get themselves up for it, won't get themselves up for it, or just lack the ability to put anything past these teams. We've not been let down in the old firms. We've not been let down in Europe. It's every other game in the league where this team has consistently failed to deliver on a regular basis. And that's the issue that we've got because we don't have a squad that is good enough to perform in these games.
Neil says the 49ers deal needs to be signed off in the next couple of weeks to plan for next season. It's not going to be. I've said it on this channel. You're looking at the end of the month and you're looking at into June before we get this deal signed off. That does not matter. The Americans pointed Kevin Thelwell. Let's be clear on that. He is Greta Steinson's man. He is there to do that. This revolution, if you like to use that word, of this squad will happen regardless of whether or not it's signed off. New manager coming in will also happen. I'm not in the slightest bit worried about that needing to be done. Difficult thing to comment on, Andrew. Rangers have since made comment on this. I didn't know about it at the time. We're at a game. We don't know about these things. We don't look at pictures or anything. We don't have that on the gantry. So I didn't see any replays or anything like that. The throwing of bottles, I think it was a half bottle of Buckfast. I've seen a picture of it getting picked up. The throwing of bottles. Let's just be absolutely clear. I don't care who you're throwing it at or what you're doing. If you're throwing things at a football game, don't bother coming. Whoever's done that, I hope they find out who it is because they're not welcome. And it needs to stop this culture because we've had it. We cannot be outraged when our players are at Parkhead or anywhere else, and they're getting stuff thrown at them, and we try and say that that's not right. It's not right, but you cannot then behave like that at our ground. It's not welcome. Rangers have said that they're well on the way to identifying who it is already, and they'll make sure that they're banned, etc. But Andrew, I have to be bluntly clear. If you're throwing stuff, then you're not welcome, and if you're doing it at Ibrox, you're especially not welcome, because this culture of thinking that you can throw stuff at players and all that needs to stop. It's abhorrent, and we don't want to see it anywhere.
No, it's not acceptable. You're throwing glass at people. Like, that's not acceptable in everyday life. It's definitely not acceptable at a football game. It's stupid behaviour. What's the best case scenario for you in this case? You injure someone and then you're banned for life from every football game. It's just silly behaviour. It's not going to achieve anything. It's just idiocy. So we don't want to see it at games. We got to see better pictures. I was obviously watching on telly, but it's just silly. Shouldn't be happening. And you wish for a world in which case that isn't happening. It continues to do so, but it's not just our support. But I feel like we're in a position where we should be calling it out from our support when it does happen, because for folk to be doing that is just stupid.
Well, yeah, we have to comment on it. We have to call it out, and we certainly will. It's indefensible. Don't do it. And if you're thinking about going to Ibrox to throw things at opposition fans, then stay away, because all you're going to do is hurt the club. And incidentally, if you get caught doing it, then you're going to be banned from every stadium, and you're going to probably face jail time, because we know, no matter what, Andrew, they take dim viewing of this sort of stuff, and in our crazy world where, people can walk away for certain things, this sort of stuff, you could find yourself in real trouble. So it's moronic. You're not welcome. Don't do it. Let's move on though, Andrew. We have a couple of questions. One of them I really liked, actually, and I'm going to bring it up from our friend Blue Bells. Our Blue always watches every show, and he brings up the question, is Big Leon worth another year? Decent backup, good for the dressing room, and I think he's worth a shout. Right, okay. Yes, absolutely yes. But here's the thing. He's a squad player. He is 4th, 5th choice squad player. He might even coach somewhere, the youngsters, whatever you want to do, player coach, etc. I thought he was excellent today. I really did.
Yeah.
I thought he was very good. Very good in the tackle, very good in the air. Should have scored after a minute. That's the only thing I could say. But I'm very comfortable with him being... This isn't for 3 or 4 years. We have a transition of a squad coming. We need all sorts of work at centre-back. Suter and Balogun. And Ciala's just a youngster. Robin Proper's not going to be here. So, for me, Balogun stays. And I'm quite happy for him to get another year. But he's not a starter, Andrew. He's not first team for me. He's 4th, 5th choice. He doesn't command a big wage. Great attitude, great to have around. And I think genuinely, on his performances, I would be quite comfortable with him sticking around for another year. That's only my opinion.
No, I'm inclined to agree with you, Stevie, but it's exactly the same point. He's a great player, low wages, to have in as like a 4th choice, 4th or 5th choice. The problem is that he's constantly being roped into being our 1st or 2nd choice defender instead. I think it's really good to have around the squad. He still can deliver in big games. He put in a tackle today which stopped, one of their players from being one-on-one with Liam Kelly. So I think he's an absolute worthwhile player to sign on for another year. I think he'd be happy with that. He enjoys being around the club. I've actually met him in person, and he enjoys being here at Rangers. And why wouldn't he? He definitely seems to get it, but it's making sure that you build up that squad around him so that, much as you love him, he's not the 1st choice. I mean, I think he is probably the 1st choice right now, but we want to be in a position where we're not dependent on him to be the best defender that we have in the squad. We need to have better defenders in, and then he can come in as a nice backup or as relief for someone if they're coming off early in a game.
Yeah,
right now, unfortunately, he's getting picked first.
Yeah, I think his experience in things is ideal now. But look, let's not lie here. I think that you need to get 2 real quality centre halves in at Rangers next year. You need to spend £4 million on 2 quality centre backs, in my opinion. £4 million each. I'm talking about, and I know that can be a hit and a miss, but you need to find quality in there, because John Souttar isn't first team for me. Leon Balogun isn't first team for me. But we cannot ship out 25 players in the summer. It doesn't work. We can try, but it doesn't work. You also need a couple of new fullbacks. You need somebody for the left. Redvan is made like a rich tea biscuit. So he's, you know what I mean? We can't have him at left back. We need a hobnob, Andrew. We need solidness in there. So,
good solid bourbon biscuit.
That's it. I'm going back to the old Peter Kay stuff. I'd like to see Casaveiro get some game time for the season as well. There's a lot of comments, people saying Souttar can go, Balogun could go, etc. Yeah, in an ideal world, but you can't change 20 players. We both said we want starting centre backs and a lot of money spent on them. So that's it. But today, Andrew, it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't change anything. It probably confirms more that we already know. In the last couple of games, I'd like to see Inciala play. I'd like to see Bailey Rice play. I want to see Oscar Cortez. I want to see Danilo play. I want to see Casaveiro get some game times. So I don't think any of that is the answer. But just for my own change of mind, I need to see something a wee bit different in these closing games, because it's not even about these games. It's all about getting to the summer and getting that money in the door, getting that revitalization. You know what I mean? Getting freshness. Just the takeover needs to happen, and the share issue and all the things they're talking about. It's not just about the money. It's about everything really. The infrastructure. The club is stale, in my opinion, right? And it's like we need fresh impetus. We need fresh injection of hope on and off the pitch.
Yeah, we've been saying it for a few weeks now, which probably speaks more about our mindset than anything else. But this takeover needs to happen sooner rather than later. In fact, it's not even so much the takeover. I think that will happen in due course. Is this season needs to end sooner rather than later. We've got 3 games left. I think, to be honest, we'll be lucky to get 3 wins out of that. Barry setting the goal of getting 5 wins out of the last 5 games, and we've not got more than 2 points yet. So we need this season to end. We have nothing left to play for. It's just a case of marking the boxes, get to the end of the season. So, yeah, I'm done with them. I'm done with the vast majority of them. We've talked about it the past few weeks. There's no one in this squad that you can really latch onto and say, yes, we desperately need him for next season. We're going to have to stick with some of them because, as you say, we can't turn over 25 players, much as we'd love to do that. But it's pretty clear that some players are just marking their tickets now until the end. And I will say that the disappointing thing, I guess, from a managerial standpoint, is that we have players like Cortez, like Casa, who we've put out money for, and you'd probably just like to see a bit of them for the end of the season. The fact that we're still seeing certain players retaining their positions, even after it's been quite clear that we're not going to learn anything new, watch them play. It's time for a change for sure.
Let's bring up a wee point that Bill makes. Says, as much as I love Big Leon, how much are we paying him for minutes played? That is really important given what we have squandered in injury. I like it, right? And I understand it. And I get the point. Bill, my point is you cannot change 20-odd people in a summer, won't be able to do it. So you need to find 12 that we can keep. Leon Balogun might just be one that you could have as a squad player and things like that. Craig Gallagher is that an Andrew sticker at last. Guess who sorted the stickers, folks? Guess. Me.
Then guess who had to go in and edit them to actually do them properly?
Not Andrew. That's the answer. So might have been Andrew. But it was a good effort from me, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is 2,400 people watching us talk about a really boringly stale old firm. Your support is unbelievable. The amount of members we have that you can see running across the bottom now. You asked for these kind of things to happen, and we're going to deliver. There is stuff coming, and we're really looking forward to what we're doing on the podcast. So thanks everybody today for joining us. Andrew, 35 minutes talking about what was a fairly dull game. Not too bad, is it?
Stevie, we'll keep putting the effort in, even if the team don't. So we're always going to be here, pals. And again, echo your comments about the sport. It's phenomenal to see. So thank you so much.
Hold on a minute here. We need a Calvin sticker. I put a Calvin sticker. There is a Calvin sticker. Isn't there?
Look,
There he is.
It's right there. It's right there.
Right there. There you go. So everybody has got stickers as requested. So
you can get little Andrew Stewart there. Look at it. Look at him. It's adorable.
He's about 6 there, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah. It's about it's only about 4 years ago that was taken. So
yeah, actually isn't long ago at all. But anyway, cheers, lads. Away to pick up a Chinese. That sounds pretty decent, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. On that notice, Andrew, thanks for joining us.
it's a pleasure, pal.
And so what we're doing this week, when Monday live, the guys will be on Monday. We are doing some interviews this week. We're interviewing a couple of people for the upcoming Helicopter Sunday documentary that we're doing. So there'll be a couple of players that played in that will be getting interviewed. So we'll be doing that this week. It'll be released in a couple of weeks in time for the 20th anniversary. What else are we doing? We're still organising interviews with players, which we are doing at this moment in time, and the regular shows will continue. So yeah, thanks for all your support, much appreciated. And yeah, that's about it. Tune in tomorrow night. Keep your eye on the socials for all the latest news, and we really appreciate it. Have a good Sunday, folks. Thank you. Are you honestly?
Really, Kenny? Oh,
I was about to jump on, lads. We are not interviewing Scott McDonald. I would interview Scott McDonald about Helicopter Sunday if we could, but he gets a bit upset at that, doesn't he? We've seen the clip of him getting asked about it, and he had a wee tantrum. So
why? It was a great performance.
Yeah,
goals for his team.
He's done well. But yes, on that note, thanks everybody for joining us. Andrew, thanks for joining me. Catch us during the week with all our socials up to date, live pods, etc. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is fantastic, wonderful help. If you want to become a member, just follow the instructions. It's for as little as 99p a month. It really helps us grow, and that's what we're trying to do. Thanks everybody. Have a good Sunday.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athol Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.